What's up guys? In this video, I'm gonna answer a question that somebody asked me, which is, hey, how come you bought your dream home? Why did you buy a bigger house? Shouldn't you have invested that money? And why did you decide to buy it when you decided to buy it? So I'm gonna answer all of that in this video right here. First off, I love this question just because it's something that we all kind of struggle with. I was in the same exact boat, like, hey, how big's too big? How soon's too soon? I'm a real estate investor, so with that, I need to be smart with my money. I can invest my money, right? And so this was something that I personally struggled with for a long time, and I have a few thoughts on it. I'm excited to share it with you guys. I love this question though because it's something that we either are too far on one end or too far on the other end, and we're constantly trying to find that balance. And all the way on this end is, hey, go big or go home. Like, you need to be in your dream house. You need to live in something that inspires you. On this end, it's, hey, be smart with your money, right? You don't want to have bad debt. Why live in a house that's more than you need? Or when you can invest that money, why do that? Like, keep investing it. And then really you ultimately have to find somewhere in the middle that works best for you and fits best for you. It's interesting. I have kind of two mentors in my life, and one of them, his advice was, you need to live in a place that inspires you, right? You want to wake up inspired. It's going to inspire you to go bigger and to make bigger investments and to do bigger and better things and ultimately make more money. And while that's a great perspective, right, for some people, I have another mentor, which is the exact opposite. He's worth probably close to $100 million, and the house that he lives in costs less than $1 million. Now for him, he has so much less stress knowing that his house is paid off, knowing he doesn't have to worry about it, knowing that he's not over leveraging something, and ultimately it's allowing him to live a better life, which I think that's really what it's going to come down to. Now, it's important to understand that you need to sacrifice in your life and you need to build something. I would answer this question differently depending on who I was talking to. How many rental properties do you have? How much passive income do you currently have? Because I think that's the first step. If you can start to build that up and you get to a point where you're financially free, which is when your passive income is enough money to cover all of your expenses, right? Where ultimately you didn't have to work if you didn't want to work. Like, once you're at that point, now you can start upping your lifestyle a little bit, at least in my mind. And that's kind of the way it worked for us. I've heard the analogy a few different ways. I've heard a lot of people refer to it as the treadmill of life, meaning the more income you're making, the higher your expenses go along with that income, and you're just constantly trying to keep up like a treadmill. You make more money, you get a bigger house, your payment goes up. You get a nicer car, your payment goes up, right? Anytime you get a raise, like, your expenses also come with the raise. Another analogy, and this is probably one of my favorites, it was explained to me in the example of using purses, right? And I'm not like a purse guy. I don't know purses. I know my wife knows purses, and I know she bought a Louis Vuitton purse a year ago or whatever, and I was like, you spent how much on a purse? But ultimately, the way it was explained to me was, you start out with like the Michael Kors purse, and then you bump up slowly. You get the little bit nicer one. Then it's the Kate Spade, right? I don't know. I'm just throwing out names. Like I said, I don't know purses, and then ultimately it's the Louis Vuitton, right? And you work your way up. Now, for my wife, if we got married and my first gift to her was this Louis Vuitton purse, is she ever gonna take the Kate Spade purse? Is she ever going to take the Michael Kors purse as a gift in the future? No, she's not, right? She's not gonna be happy with that. She's not gonna accept anything less than the nicest of the nicest, right? It has to be Louis Vuitton quality or better from there on out. Now, the cool thing is she's worked her way up to that. Started out with the other purses, and eventually, like, you work your way up. And I think it's the same thing with houses. If you scale too fast or you get into something too big, too quick, you're never going to go back down. I shouldn't say never, but most of the time, like, you're not gonna go back down and downsize and get a lower quality of house. If you buy the house with the pool and the sports court and the mini golf area, you're never going to go back to the house that has a tiny backyard and doesn't have the guest bedroom. And so the point being, take advantage of where you're at right now in that cycle. As you guys know, like, what I teach when it comes to real estate investing is use the least amount of your own money as possible to create the most amount of passive income as possible. And the best way to do that, honestly, is to house hack, meaning you're gonna own or occupy the property. You're gonna buy it because it's gonna be a good investment. You're gonna buy it logically and not emotionally. And then it's gonna turn it into a rental. You buy it first with the idea of, hey, this is gonna be a great rental property. And second, for the idea of, this is going to be a place that I want to live in. And the reason you do that is because you're not gonna live there forever. You live there for a year. The next strategy that I teach that you guys know is house hack hopping. Go do it again. Go do it again and again and again. As many times as you can get away with it, do it, because you're getting into a home with a low down payment, little cash, and then eventually you're moving out and you're keeping it as a cash flowing rental. And if you do it the right way, it's going to pay for your dream home. The house we live in now, like, we love it. It's awesome. It's funny, like, each time we say like this is our dream house, like, it doesn't last that way for very long. And that's a good thing, I think, from one aspect. The other aspect is like, hey, you need to be happy with where you are. But the other aspect is like, hey, I'm constantly growing. I'm changing, I'm developing different. And so what once was, I thought, my potential, now this is my potential, right? And so we love it. It's got everything we need, right? It's got the pool, it's got the putting green, it's got more than enough space for us. I was thinking the other day, I was like, I haven't even been upstairs in this whole side of the house in a couple of months, right? We have our garage gym, like, absolutely love it. It's a blast. But we're also still always looking for something bigger and better. And so I think it's important to really realize that, hey, I need to work my way up there. I don't need to get ahead of myself. To be honest, like, my mortgage coming out, I don't even recognize it. And I don't say that like in a cocky way or anything like that. If you just have to be in that spot to where when the mortgage payment comes out, like, you don't skip a beat. You don't even notice your bank account really taking a hit. If you're in a spot where it's like, holy smokes, that wiped us out, and now I gotta spend all month to build that back up just for it to get taken out again, then you're probably over leveraging yourself a little bit, and you're probably in a house that you shouldn't be in. So the real answer to this is, one, take advantage of house hack hopping as many times as you can and getting into these properties as many times as you can with a low amount down, because you guys know, as soon as you're in your house and your settled down house, your forever home, whatever, what happens is now you want to invest in real estate. Well, 20-25% down on a rental property is a lot more cash than if you're willing to go live there for a year and then move out, even on a fourplex. That's what I would say. And the other thing is, just don't overdo it. Don't get in over your head. And then last but not least, like I said, it depends who I'm talking to, because I am a huge dreamer. I'm a big dreamer. You can see on my back wall right here, right? Dream it. It all starts with like dreaming it. And like the place I live in now, the place I'll live in 5 years, 10 years, like, it's all been dreamt out. I promise you that. And so it's not a bad thing if you can afford it. And there's something that it took me a while to realize. I got so focused on like return on investment and return on my money, right? Like, what's my cash return? Well, there's another type of return, and it has nothing to do with money, and that's a return on fulfillment. That's a return on family. That's a return on ultimately memories, right? I bought a boat a couple years ago, a brand new boat. It's not an investment of finances. I'm not making money off that boat. I guess I could rent it out if I wanted to, but I don't. But ultimately, it's been the best investment because I get memories out of it and I get fulfillment from it. I can take my friends and my family and create this awesome time and these awesome experiences. And so I don't say that as a justification. And this is the problem with advice like this, is if you're giving it to the wrong person, they'll take that and they'll be like, yeah, I need to live in somewhere that's going to inspire me. And then they go and really max out what they should be spending, and they get into a really, really bad situation. And it actually causes problems later on because they can't invest and they can't build passive income and they can't start to climb out of the hole because they're so far down because they put themselves down in that hole. But for somebody else, like, you might need to hear it on the other aspect of it. Like, yeah, go enjoy it. Like, yes, you deserve it. You work hard, build that house, build your dream home, move into it, buy it. Yeah, if it's a little bit bigger, then like, that's okay. Are you gonna wake up as an inspired to do better, to be better? Like, yes, absolutely, like, send it, right? So hopefully that kind of helped. answer your question for you. This was a big one for me. It took me a long time to kind of wrap my head around it, but ultimately, like, I feel like the sacrifices early on, which is why I'm such an advocate of that, like, they pay me to live in my house now. They pay me to live the lifestyle I live now. So sacrifice as long as you can, but then ultimately, remember, like, life's about the journey. It's to be enjoyed. You got to maximize every day, and you never know when the next moment or the next day is going to be your last, so you might as well live it up the best you can, but also build your future, because you got more people than just you that you're building it for.